This is Natural Powerlifting Radio. Deadlifts, chicken nuggets, video games. This is Check My Total, a powerlifting podcast with Timothy Payne and Andrew Hinson.
Thank you all for tuning in on this episode of the Check My Total podcast. And we better get started with this one because Derek is on with us. It's me, Timmy, and Derek on. Derek was on a previous episode educating us about gym bags and the Slavic nation. And Derek's been chomping at the bits. We started this Skype call, and the man just started going, and we weren't even recording. So, man, Derek, how's it going, man? What you been up to?
I've been working my butt off, but other than that, I'm doing all right. Just very tired, but I'm here, and I'm alive, so I guess that's what counts, right?
You didn't work today, though, did you?
No, I actually had the day off.
How are you so tired?
Yeah. I was tired.
Did you work over the weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been working since last Wednesday. It's been nuts.
Okay.
Are you still doing that weird, shift thing?
I'm still working afternoon shifts, food prepping. It's a lot of fun, if you're slightly insane.
Huh?
I need money.
Well,
who are you working for?
I just work at a little place called Panera.
A little place called Panera, dude. It's a chain. The national chain.
I know, right?
Oh, man. But it's going to be a fun podcast. We're actually going to talk about the crazy weight loss that Derek did. Now, growing up, I've known Derek for I don't know how long. It's been a long time. And Derek's always been a big boy. He's always been a big boy. And he had a decent pair of moves on him. But over the years, Derek has slimmed down and the moves are no more. So, Derek, why don't you tell what's the heaviest that you did weigh? What were you, like 280?
Yeah, I was actually around, I was 280. I think at one point I might have been at maybe 285 pounds. And that was before I was like, okay, I need to stop doing it. I need to fix this. I need to fix this. Because, yeah.
But how tall are you?
Almost 6'2", actually.
6'2"?
Close. Almost 6'2".
6'2", 285 pounds. That's a big unit.
Yeah, I was kind of a landmass on the planet Earth. More like a little bit of an island, but it's all good.
So what do you weigh? Well, hold on. Because it kind of came in a cycle, if I remember, because you were really heavy, and then you had all these events happen, and you got down super low. Well, how low in weight did you get?
From what I remember, I got down to all the way to 178, a whopping 178.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, that's what, 102 pounds?
Something like that.
102, that is insane. That is crazy if you think about that. 102 pounds?
Yeah, but however, see, if I remember correctly, I believe I was 15... When I started powerlifting when I was around 15 or 16, I think. Yeah, was 15. Yeah, it was 15. 14 was the heaviest I ever weighed, if I do remember correctly. And then from then on, when I started weightlifting and stuff, I did lose probably 20 to 40 pounds, I think. Because I remember distinctly getting down to 240 and to 228 at one point.
Didn't you used to work out with Cravey and me for
yeah, man,
a small amount of time?
It was just learning the basics, basically, for movements and stuff. And then after that, I basically worked out with John for the remainder of that year, I think, or year and a half. And then after that year and a half, we kind of on and off worked out here and there when we had time.
So you just woke up one day and decided, hey, I don't want to live like this anymore?
Actually, no. In fact, it was more or less basically back in see, I didn't really learn what I learned about eating, like our food, for instance. Fuel is everything. Your fuel is everything when it comes to weight loss and when it comes to just gaining muscle in general. So, and of course, you do want energy, right? Everyone wants energy.
Yeah.
My problem was growing up. So I didn't have any energy, but I was always eating meat sandwiches. I was eating sandwiches almost every meal. But the thing is, I learned. I would say around 2 years ago, rather. See, all this weight loss didn't really happen until I think the last part of 2015 and early 2016. So, but that's been, it's one of those things where I was kind of forced into a weight loss because my, it's hard to explain in terms of the story, and I am driving a huge brain fart.
You're doing a what?
I just had a huge brain fart. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So anyways, you lost weight out of necessity.
Yes, because I learned through a clinic, not necessarily a doctor. Now, I know this is like a whole different story for a whole other episode, but apparently I needed to go on a diet to lower my uric acid level because it was way too high.
Well, hold on. So you went to this clinic. Wait, hold on. How did you get to this clinic? How did you get to this clinic?
So this clinic, all right. So how I got to this clinic was thanks to basically my mother getting diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, this is the depressing part.
It was the same clinic that she went to, right?
Yeah, my mother took me there. She wanted me to see, resolve my issues. Yeah, it's one of those things because she wanted she needed some emotional support. So more power to her. I did what she wanted me to do.
Yeah.
So they asked me what was going on. Actually, they didn't really ask me. What they did is they drew blood and they sent my blood to get it analyzed and to see where what my imbalances were, essentially, like my hormone imbalance, like my hormones, and just basically if I have like a deficiency in certain vitamins and key minerals.
So they basically did a blood test on you for everything.
Yeah. They're just following their protocol because they have to take a blood test with every patient. At first, when like a brand new patient that was coming in, they do blood tests first, and then they go on from there, essentially.
So with your acid being so high, were you dealing with gout and things like that?
Oh yes, my feet were popping like the 4th of July. It was nuts. Every step I took, man, it was like my bones were snapping. It was ridiculous.
Sounds painful.
Oh yeah, at a young age, you don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So you get tested. They tell you your levels are out of whack. Now what?
Yep. Oh,
so wait,
right.
So what was out of whack though? Was it just your acid?
Oh, it was many things. My uric acid level was extremely high. Your average level, like your average number you want to go for, is a 3. That's an average number. That's like perfect. Anywhere above a 3 is not good. So, the highest my level was, like my level. Oh my goodness! They said it was like the highest level they've ever seen in a younger person. so yeah. It turns out.
Do you know what it was?
Yes, I remember this very distinctly. Apparently, my level was an 8.9.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's just a tad bit high, just a little bit.
You said 3 was the regular.
3 is your average. 3 is basically your average. You want.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want a high uric acid level because that's a lot of acid.
So your diet consisted of a lot of meat and animal products?
Oh yeah, for the most part. I mean, growing up, it's all I ever had. Every single day, 3 meals, literally 3 times a day, I'd have chicken or anything part of a chicken, like any part of a chicken, eggs, meat, thigh meat, breast meat,
Yeah.
or whatever you get at Bojangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
Okay.
basically it was just a lot of bread, a lot of meat, steak, hot dogs, all that.
Yeah.
Apparently, a high protein diet's not it's not very good for the human body. Too much of one thing's not too
Wait.
good.
High protein or high red meats?
It's a little bit of both. It depends.
I mean, I would say animal in general, no matter what you're eating.
Yeah.
I know we're
I heard
driving away all
chicken-
our
I heard
powerlifter
chicken
listeners
doesn't
right
give you
now.
that much.
Yeah.
Because I heard chicken doesn't have all that acid stuff. Or
Yeah,
near as
it's
much
really
as-
all bad for you, man.
I didn't. Well, anyway, if you want to
All right,
continue
so
on.
your acid levels and what else was out of whack?
All right, this is the fun part, and this is odd how I can actually remember this. So basically, another part of me that was out of whack was my estrogen level, which explains the moves. My estrogen level was kind of high.
Why was that high?
Well, they explained it to me. I think a lot of it, some of it's genetics and some of it was, I don't even say genetics. A lot of it was probably what I was eating. And the clinic actually was kind of on the track of, they asked me, one of the first things they asked me was like, do you drink a lot of milk or soy milk? I believe that's what it was about. So yeah, I was drinking soy milk growing up as a kid. Like when I was between 8 to 13, my mom was like, "Oh hey, soy milk. It's better. That's not milk. See, we're lactose intolerant in my family, so hey, soy milk."
Yeah.
And come to find out, the soybean is highly genetically modified. Oh snap! Well, it's not really. Well, it is kind of genetically. Everything's genetically modified at this point. But the point is, the soybean actually raises your estrogen levels. And I was consuming a lot of soy, so it kind of makes sense that my estrogen level would be nuts.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and according to
does
them,
does regular milk do it?
Now that's a very interesting question because I've actually literally have thought about that because when you really look at milk, it's full of hormones for the baby calves, right?
Right.
In nature. So when you're drinking another species milk, you're taking in a lot of extra hormones. You have to realize that the genetic body makeup of a cow is a lot different than a human. They probably, I believe they do, they could require more hormones than, we do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And we're the only species that does that too. Drinks other
Yes.
species milk.
Yes, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but we're probably the only species to make a good cheeseburger too.
we're the only species that makes cheeseburgers.
Exactly.
But anyway, so my estrogen level was out of whack, and then now this is the interesting part. My gluten, apparently my gluten level. Okay, so they actually measured gluten level, or I can't remember the specific term for it, but that was actually very high. And apparently gluten is it's almost like glue in a way. Not like glue like the regular glue that we think of, but the substance that it when you eat anything with wheat in it, it has gluten in it, right? So
Right.
basically it's glue to the power of 10 or whatever. That's what I heard someone say at one point. And apparently gluten actually causes things to stay on you, which explains the extra skin that you don't really want. I guess.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the gluten levels, I think that's a whole other conversation in itself because it's very interesting.
All them sandwiches, man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's all I had was bread. Bread is like the key to everything that's good in life, and of course I can't eat it, and it sucks.
I know, right?
But that was the main things that stuck out when they did the lab test on me. And it's like, okay, everything else is pretty much normal. Actually, later on, I learned that my I think what was called bilirubin or something. I think that's what it's called. It's basically the thing they measure for gallstones. Apparently, that was actually kind of high my last visit.
Okay. But your
So
sugar and stuff's okay?
yeah, everything was decent at the time. Yeah, because see, growing up, I was actually oddly enough a healthier kid than most because when I was, I would say in middle school, like I would actually eat salads, I would actually eat vegetables. At one point, I was actually drinking straight up just nothing but water. I was in middle school. I was a little kid. I didn't want any soda. I didn't want any of that stuff. I just wanted water.
Man, I wish I had some of that right now.
Yeah, me too.
I'm drinking chocolate milk right now. I'm drinking the devil's milk.
I mean, it's a cow. I'm not sure if it's a devil, but okay. But
So
anyway.
the doctors gave you your wake-up call.
Oh well, this clinic did a little bit. They
Right.
kind of they started talking about that stuff. It's like, oh, okay. They started me on this little bit of a path. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Well, I was already kind of looking into this stuff beforehand, but I didn't really know much at all until like later on throughout my visits to this doctor because they also practice in chiropractics and stuff like that. So they
Right.
actually had a really nice. They're really good chiropractors. They actually helped me out with my knee and they helped me out with my shoulder. And that was my first ever acupuncture. And let me tell you, needles suck. But man, it helped. It helped my shoulder out a lot, I have to say.
So when you went to this clinic and stuff, they told you all this, like, yeah, your acid levels and all this crap is hiding to get on this diet. Well, what made you stick with this diet as opposed to all the other diets that didn't work in the past or you didn't stick with?
Well, oddly enough, when I started on this diet, mind you, I was already dieting in the year prior. I mean, during the year earlier that year, I was already trying to lose weight because I was actually very active. I was riding my bicycle. I was doing all sorts of stuff. And I believe I was weightlifting maybe once or twice in that time period, but I was mainly just riding my bicycle.
Yeah.
And so at this clinic, when my mom was going to this clinic, she was also beforehand, she already like researched, like she needs to eat more naturally. She needs to lay off the highly industrialized processed foods it wreaks havoc on the human body.
Right.
So she had to lay off all of that because she was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer before we
Shoot.
went to this clinic. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, this is very, very. Yeah, it's kind of a touch and go type of story here, but this is probably one of the benefits of this whole situation. For me anyway. So basically, when I went to this clinic, she got me on the diet and everything. They told me to basically lay off of bread, milk, because I was lactose intolerant, and they were like, you can't handle milk, just don't even touch it. It's like, okay, thank you. So bread, milk, and they told me to lay off meat because meat, oddly enough, actually increases, well, I mean, it's not really a surprise here, it actually increases uric acid levels.
Yeah, it does.
So a lot of meat will increase uric acid level. Also spinach. I was also eating a lot of spinach at the time.
Huh.
So apparently the purine in spinach also raises your uric acid level. And so I had to literally cut off a lot. I cut off bread, milk, and meat. That's a lot of those are like the three main things that surrounds me every time I go to the grocery store.
That's true.
So, as far as the milk, so are you not eating anything with dairy in it? Like no cheese?
Well, at the time, all right, so this is at the time. I'm off the diet now because I mean, when you're trying to work your butt off, you don't have time to prep food for yourself, for one thing, and it's very costing, very costing, and I've been trying to actually experiment with, since I'm working pretty much a part-time job now, that if I can do this by working a part-time job, and it's very difficult because I'm food prepping and I got to come home and prep food as well. So there's also that.
Yeah.
But I have actually been off. Some nights it's just so stressful. I just can't really, do that. I just go and I just cheat. I've been cheating. I haven't been on the diet, I have to say. But at the time, I was literally not eating a lot. I couldn't eat a whole lot of food because I didn't know what to get. If that makes sense. So
Yeah, you weren't educated yet.
I wasn't. So for a while there, I was actually fasting for the most part. So I would like my diet, like this was a very poor diet plan. I don't know if I would recommend this to anyone, but I was honestly eating maybe like 1 or 2 meals a day at the time before the clinic, because my mom already researched a lot of stuff, and we were already kind of on the health track. Like we were eating lentils, we were eating all the bean stuff, we were trying to get away from all the breads, we were eating fresh, naturally caught fish, like expensive stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was making salads, I was making all sorts of stuff that she could eat, and we all could eat, and like sweet potatoes, she could eat sweet potatoes. So, and there's another thing too on starchy potatoes, white potatoes. Those not really good for you either, apparently.
Can't be having them.
Apparently, that's what they also told her. But it was a very difficult year of my life. I mean, trying to figure out.
Is fish okay?
Naturally caught, not farm raised, because apparently the way they feed their fish and farm raised fish, I can't remember what was like the real issue there, but I think there was something to do with there's like the bait, like the stuff they were feeding the fish had like some type of mercury in it or something. I can't remember. It's been a while. I don't know exactly why, but I just know that things that are naturally caught, like things that are in nature and haven't been like, tampered with man, is actually way better for you than what's been tampered with, apparently.
So, so do y'all think that all these problems that come from eating meat and all these animals, is that because that meat's always been bad, or is it just how meat has been so processed and mass produced over the years and now it's bad? Or do you think meat's always been bad since day one?
I think that's a very interesting topic, because I believe the highly processed food, highly processed meats, those are definitely bad. Straight up. Just, I mean, if you're low on budget, hey, you can sacrifice a meal to that, I guess. But still, it's very bad. It's actually, I can't really stress enough how bad that is. But the fresh meat, for example, if there was a certain case where this guy was actually raising, mind you, it was farm raised, but he was raising buffalo, and he was actually eating, like, he was only eating the buffalo meat from, the buffalo that he has, farm raised and all that. Apparently, buffalo meat is so lean. It's so much leaner than cow meat. It's actually way better for you than regular cow meat.
Yeah.
So I think he was diagnosed at one point with some type of cancer. He didn't go back to like get radiation or anything. He just kept doing like some diet plan with that or something. I forgot how the story went, but he actually survived that. Apparently.
You mean bison?
Yeah,
Buffalo?
something like that. Yeah, but I mean,
Whatever it was.
I can't remember the state. Flip. I think it was out west, obviously, but I just can't remember.
Montana.
I just don't know. Like, obviously, the way meat's done now is not good.
Oh yeah,
So it's all
definitely
pumped and processed and all that stuff. But like,
I think it's been bad since.
Wait, what?
The level of bad, isn't it? So if you ate a cow that you raised yourself and it's out, in the pasture eating its grass and stuff. Let's say it's like a level 3 bad, but it's starting out at a level 3. But you buy this hormone injected super cows from the supermarket, that's like a level 10 bad. Well, both of them are bad, but it's better to eat, the cow that you raised yourself in the yard. But either way, I don't think either one's all that great for you.
Yeah, I don't know, because people have been eating meat since the beginning of time, and like
Yeah,
some people get benefits from that lean meat. Like I don't know.
and also I think it has to do with it just being so easy to get that we eat it way more often than what people used to. Also,
That's fair.
That's
yeah.
true. That's truth right there.
So we get everything at our fingertips. So you can eat a hamburger every single meal, every single day. So
Yeah.
anything excessive ain't good for you. So that probably has something to do with it too. How much of it that you're consuming.
Oh yeah. And honestly, fish and chicken, like that's pretty good for you for the most part that I'm aware of. But I mean, better for you than red meats, is what I've been told anyway.
Like we were
Red meats,
talking, I guess the leaner the better.
yeah, leaner the better for the most cases. If you want to eat meat, I mean, some people don't eat meat, but hey, more power to them is all I can tell. I can tell them that for a fact, more power to them because you actually, when I was on my diet, I actually got energy that I never had since growing up as a kid. I can tell you that straight up as a fact.
I believe it.
I could I could do stuff and not get tired. For instance, here's a very good example. So this is when I was doing my diet for the 3 month. I did this diet for 3 months, right? The no milk, no dairy, no bread, and no meat diet.
Okay.
On this diet, I was able to get on my mountain bike, and I went. There's a park that's an hour and 40 minutes away. It's in Wilkesboro, and went there, and there was this trail that I rode with some friends at one point, and it took us maybe a full day just to go around the trail because there was a lot of up and downs, and we didn't really know the trail real well, and everyone was just getting tired and stuff, and couldn't really do the whole bike trail. Well, I went on that same trail a year later, right?
Yeah.
Actually, no, 2 years later. I went on the same trail, and I only stopped 6 times. I went around the whole trail in an hour and a half. I only stopped 6 times. And by myself, and I had to go home too afterwards because I had stuff to do that evening.
So
And
how long did it take you to lose the 100 pounds?
over the course of, let's see, before doing the diet, I distinctly remember I was at 256 because I was also in high school. This is a course of like maybe 7 to 8 years, I think. Because when I was in high school, I was 15. I was 200 and I got 250 and pretty much maintained between 250 to 270 all the way up until 2016, basically. So I went from 256 in 1 year down all the way to 178. And
Phew.
and before I started this no meat, no dairy, and no grain diet, essentially, I was on I was around 200 and I believe 46 or 247 or something like that. I was in the 240 range for between 250 and 240 basically. And so when I hit those 3 months, it before I got to those 3 months, I think I was at 230, and from 230 I got down to 178. So my metabolism was already kicking into gear before I really lost weight. And
Yeah.
after that, between those times, I was just full blown energetic. I had energy, and I was riding my bike almost every week, and I felt the best I've ever felt in my life.
So would you attribute that more to your diet or like a combination of that and your
It's
bike riding?
it's a combination. I believe it was mainly in combination, but I contribute most of that energy to my diet because
Okay.
when I freed up my diet like that, I didn't have before the diet and before just basically going through just straight up losing all the meats. I could barely I didn't have much energy at all when I was still eating meat before the diet. Then when I got off that, eating the meat part and the bread part, my energy levels just skyrocketed almost.
So the meat just made you feel bogged down all the time?
Yes, definitely. And it was it was almost like taking off a weird bodysuit. I am not even kidding you. That's the best way I can describe what happened to me.
So then, what was like your go-to meals then?
Let's see here. My go-to meals. Basically, I was doing I think I was at first doing stir frying broccoli and stuff like that, cooking my vegetables. I did a
Now,
lot
what was in your stir fry? Like, did you have rice and stuff, or no rice?
um when I was doing all of this, I believe I was eating mainly salads, and I was kind of just eating like once or twice a day still because I didn't know what to fix for the most part, and I got really thin during this session. And so basically I did eat brown rice because at the time everyone was saying brown rice was better for you than white rice because brown rice actually has fiber to it because yeah, there's still fiber in the grains, but apparently when you eat full brown rice, I learned this like maybe at the end of last year that actually brown rice. I mean, I didn't really. After I learned this, I was like, I don't know what to think really because after I learned that brown rice actually has a little bit of, I wouldn't say arsenic, but it's almost like a poisonous part of the brown rice. I don't know if they remove it after they shuck the brown rice. I don't know if it's just part of the grain itself, but there's a slight toxin to the brown rice naturally, I think.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't.
I hope
Yeah,
they get rid of
there's a lot
that.
of. Yeah, seriously. But I mean, there's a lot of I don't know about articles on that one, but I did see somewhere that brown rice was kind of poisonous at one point. But then again, you know, rice is very substantial. I mean, it's a filler for the most part anyway, and it does clog up the system pretty well. I can attest to that one. But there's just, I mean, this is a lot of information, just to be honest. But my diets mainly consisted of sweet potatoes, let's see, salads. I try to get away from soy products as best as I could. So I actually had recipes where I could make my own salad dressings, which is very amazing to have, because most of your salad dressings that you buy in the stores, it's chock full of soybean oil, including your mayonnaise. And I was eating mainly romaine lettuce and not no I wasn't really eating iceberg because iceberg was uh, it's just basically water paper
Yeah.
essentially, and it causes indigestion. There's that. But I was eating romaine for the most part. Uh, I mean, my tip for just dieting in general is try to be as fresh and be as close to natural as you possibly can. Even though that I know for a fact that some people can't do that because of money and stuff like that. I understand the financial situations because been there, done that.
Yeah.
Uh, and in terms of food, I mean, you cannot have a better meal going out to eat than cooking at home with fresh ingredients. You just can't, in general.
Hey
But
man, I'm with you 100%.
oh yeah, it's just. I mean, honestly, recently my dad and we fixed up some tasty treats this past 3 days. We actually cooked home, and my goodness, it was the best thing we've ever had at the house. But
Where do you get all your protein from?
well,
Beans, man.
Dude,
not
how many
not
beans
just.
you eating, man?
Oh no, I wasn't eating beans like crazy. See, the thing is, your body doesn't necessarily have to have protein because apparently your body can produce its own protein to a certain extent, which is
Yeah,
really
to a certain
cool,
extent.
which is really awesome. But the but the thing is that what your body produces for protein isn't very. It's still acidic, but it doesn't. But it's not as acidic as eating animal meat because animal meat in nature creates a. I think it's like an acidic ash type of. It's like acidic. It's almost like ash. It's like a very acidic. It's hard to describe. I think it's like a. It's like a chalky solution essentially, if that makes sense.
My
And
dad, or go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, sorry. But I mean, if you want to go ahead, cut in. That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to gather
I
my
was gonna
thoughts.
say, my dad says there's a article that's coming out now saying how your body will actually recycle your protein 3 times. So you don't even have to take as much protein as what all these people are telling you to take. Because, like I just said, your body's going to recycle it a couple times before it gets
Yeah.
rid of all the protein you take in.
The
Yeah.
old school people like in bodybuilding would say 1 pound of or 1 gram of protein per pound of body fat, but it's probably more like point two point yeah, probably like 0.2 ish
Yeah.
per pound of body weight. Like I don't know how much that is for me. I'm like what 200 pounds, so I probably need like crap.
Get your calculator.
I'm kidding it. I really like. Let's see. I'm
Well,
pretty. It's not that much.
what's a super protein? Like 15 grams?
Mm,
So,
oh,
oh,
what?
this seems low. I don't think I did this right. It says 40 grams.
Oof. My
I
goodness.
don't know.
I don't know. 40 grams of protein being 200 pounds. Not that much. But
And plus, you gotta kind of factor in how much protein you're getting from just what you're eating too. That people never think about.
Oh yeah.
Because you eat a cheeseburger, it's got protein in it.
yeah.
You got protein in the cheese. You got protein in the meat, and then, for example, you'll also get, depending on your lettuce, you can actually get a little bit of calcium out of your lettuce too. Actually, you can find a lot of calcium in just your vegetables alone. In fact, just in general, I believe celery has a pretty good amount of calcium. You can actually build off that in terms of like your bone stuff. But
Yeah. There's all kinds of vegans out here building muscle without any animal products or protein. Well, I mean like animal protein. And
and
they're looking pretty ripped up, so I believe that you can do it without having to have whey.
I mean, you definitely can. I'm also interested to see what happens to like people that go the opposite end of the spectrum. Like Derek, you went the no meats and no anything, and then you have the people on the opposite end of the spectrum that go the keto and
Mhm.
and they eat only all meats, and yet you have studies that say that like decreases Alzheimer's and like decreases types of cancers and like Parkinson's disease, and
Al-
it's interesting.
Also, I like to throw this in there. Basically, I had to go. I'll just remind you. I actually had to. I had to do this diet because of my uric acid level was way too high, and my joints would pop every single time I move around. Like that's not normal.
Yeah,
So, and also with our high protein diets as a standard American diet, essentially, like it's insane because technically, our bodies digest meat. When our body fully digests our meats that we consume, for example, if we had lunch, maybe a turkey sandwich, right? That turkey will not be digested until 24 hours after you consumed it because our body takes longer to digest that for the
yeah,
most part because it's not very natural for us to be eating protein meat in general because I don't know if you want to look into this. There's actually some very good research material on this. Things to look at, but the topic of species eating their appropriate foods for their own bodies. For example, if you look at a primate, if you look at the digestive tract, it's very complex. There's a lot, like there's miles of intestine just like a human, but as humans we have more intestine than an ape. And basically our bodies actually work better under an alkaline diet for the most, not a fully alkaline diet, mind you, but more or less very close in between. For the most part. And the way to get alkalinity into the system is eating fruits for the most part. Because if you look at a primate, I know this will this will make people not like this. A lot of people don't like this. There's some research into this, and it's a very interesting topic to talk about. But apparently primates are frugivores, and frugivores are basically a species of animals that actually just eat fruit. Their whole system is designed to eat fruit. And if you take the anatomy of a chimpanzee, as they usually do, and compare it to us, and be like, oh, hey, we evolved from that. You know.
Some people believe.
Yeah, some people believe that. Some people don't. Well, that's a whole other topic. Anyway, thing is, the fruit, they're mainly frugivores. Because if you compare that to an herbivore, like their anatomies are different. An herbivore, they'll go in and grind their food, and they have multiple stomachs. A primate only has one stomach. So they can't really, they can eat vegetables like we can eat vegetables. But, there's a lot of energy being wasted having to break down all that extra stuff that our herbivores, brethren here, they have multiple stomachs and teeth for grinding. So, it's food for thought for that one.
Wait, I'm confused. Gorillas only eat fruit?
Well, they should be eating the fruit, but they also eat vegetables. You can eat vegetables and eat fruit. I don't know. I'm confused too on that one. But that's just a little bit of it's just something to look into.
I'm with you on the alkaline thing and having your pH levels right. Because I've talked with Andrew about this before. If your pH levels at a certain, which I don't know what it is.
If it's below 5, you're in trouble.
Yeah, but if you keep your pH up to where you get all this alkaline going on, all this cancer can't grow because you don't have any acid in you.
Because it's a fungal type deal.
Yeah. So, you eating all the animal protein, not protein, but just animals in general, and you get all that acid. That's what's creating all this cancer and stuff is the acid.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't have that introduced into your system, then it can't, start to grow to begin with.
That's true. And then I always say that and sugar.
Well, it depends on the sugar because if you're looking at
some cancers that grow with sugar.
Yeah. Oh, actually, cancer in general grows with sugar. But it depends on where you're getting your sugar from. For example, if you're eating fruit, it should be sweet in nature, which it is. It's sweet in nature. However, the fruit should have a certain extent of fiber to it that allows your body to actually break down the fructose. When you're eating just regular store-bought sugar, there's no fiber included to break down that sugar. So your pancreas has to create insulin for your body to store that extra sugar that it can't process, and it stores into fat. That's why when you look at sodas, for example, here's a little health tip: if you're trying to lose weight, do not drink soda. Because if you look at a regular can of Pepsi, look on the back, look at how much sugar is in it. It's 40 grams. And then you have a fructose syrup. But that's mainly it's just fructose. See, the thing is with your apple juices and your grape juices and stuff like that, for example, that's as bad as drinking a soda, if that makes sense. Because unless it's unfiltered and it hasn't been through this whole crazy process of stripping all the fruit out of it, if it hasn't been through that, and then you're drinking the right stuff. Because if it's unfiltered and it's got parts of the apple, for example, that actually has some of the fiber in it. I mean, your body can utilize that to break down the fructose from the juice, from the from the apple itself.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you cannot find a better sweet drink than actual apple cider that was made from actual apples. You just can't. I've tried. Unless you go with mangoes and watermelon, but hey.
Wait, where do you get your apple cider from?
Oh, right. There's this apple cider that's, oh my goodness. There's this place it's in Wilkesboro, of course. There is this old guy. He has like an apple field. And this old dude, he has it right, man. He's got the best apple cider I've ever had in my life.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wait, so what do you do now I don't even remember. Did I ever get an answer to my question about how you like felt full eating or getting protein? Let's say you didn't do beans or something.
Yeah, about getting full. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really get full during that time when I was on the diet because my body was constantly craving bread, constantly. And part of that was due to probably the gluten, I think. I think something about the gluten and something about I think it's like the pH level, or like you were saying about the pH level, the fungal growth of like bread and stuff like that. Like you actually do get some fungal growth from grains to an extent. So, and what that does, it makes you want to crave more bread, essentially. That's what I'm trying to get around to. But that's a whole other, all this is in the scope of things, like just all of these interesting topics to dive into.
Well, you gotta have some kind of starch to feel full. So like,
yeah,
usually
like rice.
You need to eat, rice, beans, potatoes. That's what's making you feel full. So if you're a straight up vegetarian, just eating plants all the time, then usually you have a sensation of never being full.
However,
you gotta get that starch in there.
Or now, I've done this before, and I actually felt full. Now this is really interesting. I've actually had. All right, so I'm going to break down something real quick before making this point. So when you have breakfast, have you guys ever broke down the word breakfast itself?
Break fast.
Yeah, you break fast. Do you know what that? So basically, that term in general, when you have breakfast in the morning, right, you're actually breaking the fast that your body was dealing with during the night while you're sleeping.
Cool.
So when you're eating breakfast, you're breaking the fast, right? So what better way to break the fast than with a nice juicy watermelon or a cantaloupe or some type of melon, right? I've done that before. And when I've done that before, I was really hungry and thirsty. It's like, man, I'm just hungry, man. So I cut open it was either a cantaloupe or a honeydew. No. At one point, no, it was a watermelon. Yeah, okay. We had watermelon at the time. So yeah, I cut open a watermelon, and at the time, that's all I had for breakfast was just the watermelon. I was full as a tick. I can't. It's hard to describe. I was full as a tick. I didn't want anything. I didn't want anything else. I was ready to go work.
Right.
It's probably because you probably drank it. It's probably got enough water. You probably consumed like 2 gallons of water, man. That's why you're full.
Yeah, dude. It's good stuff, though. I mean, is that?
Wait, so you were only on the really strict diet for 3 months, right?
Well, I was on the very, very strict diet for only 3 months, and from then on out, I was actually breaking off a little bit. At 2 months after those horrible 3 months, I was breaking off a little bit, but I was actually maintaining that after those 2 months. I was breaking off. I was like, okay, I need to get back into it, and I actually did go back into it for another maybe 2. And then after that, I was just trying to maintain myself, and I was cheating here and there, but I wasn't full on cheating like I am now. But
how much do you weigh now?
Last time I checked, I was still hanging around 190.
Yeah. That's pretty good, man.
That's pretty good when you're 6'2". Because man, when I saw you when you were like 170, man, you look malnourished, man. You look like you were dying, man.
Yeah, I probably was, to be honest.
Did you feel good when you were that light?
When I was that light, dude, I could actually jump.
Yeah, but I mean, like, did you feel okay? Did you feel like you had energy and stuff when you were that small?
When I was that small, I sort of had energy. I remember not really having enough energy to think at one point. But I think that was due to, I think a lot.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, I know, that's pretty important. But the thing is, when I was down to 178, I was also dealing at that time. I was also dealing with a very sick mother. So a lot of that was stress, and a lot of that was not eating as much as I should have been eating. I was also fixing food for my mom too, and yeah, she didn't have energy, but it was a very rough. Like I said, that year was very rough. A lot of it was stress. A lot. I think I may have actually lost a lot of weight due to stress, but I'm not exactly certain. But I'm pretty sure that might have been a factor.
It probably was.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%.
But I mean, all of it's just a huge odd. When you're losing weight and then what's going on around in your life, and all of it's just a huge like. It's just like almost like like I was dealing with a chemical imbalance. It's like almost all of it's just a huge chemical equation. It's weird when you're losing weight, if that makes sense.
So what would you say now, like since you're like at the 190 area, you're probably because last time I saw you looked a lot more healthier and more energetic than when you were like way down looking like a malnourished kid. But what do you eat now? Like what's your diet now?
I mean, I've been eating fast food, I'm not gonna lie. Because it's all I have time for now. Working.
Right.
But what I'm eating now is not like I was eating back then. But I do want to dive into it, and I really think I wasn't eating enough of the right stuff. When I look back, I don't think I was actually full on dieting as I should, because I didn't really have anyone else to help us out. We didn't really have many people that actually have done this before. We didn't really have anyone to turn to for recipes. We didn't have literally any friends to help us. So a lot of it was just trying to go online, go off the net somewhat, and then trying to figure it out ourselves. And a lot of it was, for a while there, I was actually getting into smoothies. Believe it or not, spirulina, like there's plant protein that you can actually, I'm sure everyone knows what plant protein is, right?
Yeah. And the spirulina.
Yeah, spirulina. Yeah, yep. Spirulina, 1 teaspoon is 4 grams of protein. So I would take 2 of those teaspoons because your body realistically needs at least 8 grams for the most part. And I was using that in my smoothies I was making, and I was throwing in fruit, spirulina, just to make the spirulina good. I was using straight up fruit and just apple juice. I did not use any milk whatsoever. That was my smoothie, and I've had probably the best smoothies I've ever had in my life doing that.
Now here's my thing about smoothies. Y'all gonna have to fact check me on this. I heard, and I think I remember reading this, that eating, like if you take a banana, eating a banana is fine. But
no, the bananas aren't fine. But sorry, continue.
What's wrong with bananas?
No, it's all good. Continue.
Well, no, I'm curious. What's wrong with bananas?
They're
yellow.
Bananas. No, if you look at a banana nowadays and you bite into it and you look into it, there's no seeds. It's full on frankenfruit. Anyways, that's all I can say.
Was it bad for you?
Same as anything else nowadays.
I know, right?
Can you eat anything these days, man?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I don't mind eating.
What are you going to tell me to eat freaking lentils, man? Because they're getting mutated every day too.
I don't know. It's weird. But no, I'm not saying you can't eat them. You can eat them if you want. But my point is like if you look at your bananas now, there's practically no seeds in it. You're just eating fruit flesh at this point. And the thing is, there's a lot of sugar in bananas. Yeah, sorry. I'll shut up.
Is there a lot of sugar in apples though?
Yeah, there's a lot of sugar in a lot of fruit actually. It's all fructose, and to say that it's not good for you is kind of a lie because it is good for you. Yeah.
Depends on how you're burning it off too, and how
Yeah.
quick it's going through your system.
Yeah, that plus actually it comes down to how far chronic your body is in terms of just in general if it's been like just full like for example, do not eat bread and then eat fruit because you'll feel sluggish. I've done that before. It's not fun. But
And then you got different kind of sugars, so depending
yeah.
what kind of sugar you got in you, some's bad, some ain't.
That's true.
Yep.
So okay, back to my point. I heard if you eat a banana, like peel it back and eat it. I think this goes for any fruit too. Like you bite an apple, you eat an apple, it's fine. But I heard if you blend it, like not even like with anything, if you just blend it up and you drink it, it's like not good for you. Like I saw where on Weight Watchers, which you know how it's that point based system,
Mm-hmm.
and you get like 40 points a day or whatever. Okay, apples, bananas are 0 points. A blended up banana is like 4 points.
That's
And
weird.
the reason is I read up a little bit on this. The reason is because when you eat it directly, the enzymes of your saliva start breaking down the fruit and it gets processed or whatnot.
Yep.
When you blend it, apparently something happens with the enzymes, and when you consume it in liquid format, like the normal breakdown process that happens with your saliva doesn't happen, and it gets processed like differently and like with more sugar or something like that. Someone fact check me on this. Make sure.
I mean, I'm
right.
with you. Your stuff becomes
Yeah,
more potent, but I
yeah.
don't know if it's necessarily bad for you.
I
Oh.
would, if you don't mind me cutting in here, I can see where you're going with the enzymes deal because it actually makes a lot of sense because your body is technically made to break down the fruit in general. Like you have mucosa in your mouth that actually breaks down. You know, I mean, it's mucosa and it's all in us. Yeah, everyone has this, but it breaks down the fruit basically going in as you were chewing, and then it's just part of the natural process, breaking down fruit in general. The blending part, I understand where you're coming from, because you're essentially just turning your fruit into fructose. I mean, on what I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
but it kind of makes sense. But then again, I overanalyze things, so.
Well, apparently, I'm looking at this one thing here. This article, like, why is whole fruit healthier than a smoothie? And apparently, whatever the normal process is, like the work your stomach normally does to break down a whole fruit and get the fiber out of the fruit, doesn't happen, or like happens differently. Apparently, when it's blended up and you just drink it, your body can immediately access all the sugar and calories. It doesn't have to break down, and you don't get the fiber or something.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't get fiber unless you don't chop it up as much.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because every time I did a smoothie, I'd get like instant energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get that sugar, man. So apparently, you're not supposed to blend your fruit.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which, I'll be honest, after this podcast, I don't know what you can eat.
You gotta start your own farm, man. That's why I have so much respect for Don Craig. He grows basically everything he eats.
There you go. Hey, that's the best way to do it, though, because you actually know what you're putting in your body.
Yep.
Because all this processed stuff, you get MSG, you got all this other sugar, you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know why you're really getting it, and then you end up drinking some kind of coffee drink that has a butt ton of sugar in it. Yeah, that's fun.
I'd be very interested to see it from because obviously certain people need certain diets. Like Derek couldn't have gone on a keto diet because his uric acid level was about to kill him. So,
he would have exploded.
So literally, the man did not need a keto diet. He did not need a meat diet. The man needed to get off the meat and all that stuff. And people people with diabetes and stuff generally need to get off the animal fats as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, because Because there's other diseases that apparently like meat helps with, and so like I'd be curious as to what exactly what people benefit from a keto or like very high meat diet would be, or if the benefits are all just made up. Because like
I honestly can. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Tim.
I just was gonna say I think they are, man, made up because it's just that it all boils down to the acid. Like I don't understand how eating a bunch of meat can help you. It, I don't know. I don't get it.
And
Well, that's my 2 cents.
well, I'll make 4 here in a sec. So
There you
basically,
go.
yeah. So basically, I understand where you're coming from, Tim, because when you look at gorillas and at the zoo, they eat vegetables and I mean, they share their diet at the zoo just to be basically it's all vegetables. There's no fruit there, and they're just laying there in the ground, just like chilling, and they're not doing anything. It's a perfect day, and there's like not a cloud in the sky, and it's warm, it's hot. I'm sweating bullets, and they're laying there doing nothing, and all they do is smack each other and just lay there. It's like, why aren't you guys out in this field playing? And then I look at the diet, I'm like, oh. So basically, they're feeding them the wrong fuel. But the point, what I'm trying to get around to, is that when you look at, like, for example, a gorilla, they're strong as an ox. They can be stronger than an ox, and they eat for structure. They can eat plants and they eat fruit. So
that's
and
true.
they're strong.
Yeah, but they're also a different species.
I mean,
I don't know how much of a you can make some comparisons, and I get where you're going, but like I don't know how much carryover that actually has.
Yeah, I know, but you also have to look at. I mean, if you look at all of our body, like every animals as a species as a whole, is like anatomy and skeleton design. It's all very amazing.
Now here's another thing. Are we talking about eating for health or eating for performance or eating for like, so by health, I mean like just general healthiness, like disease prevention and stuff like that, or like performance? Because like, is it like this might not make like performance and healthy are not the same thing. So like, is eating a bunch of meats and high in carbs really good for performance, even though it might kill you sooner? Or is like trying to eat lentils and beans the better route for performance? I don't know.
I mean, if you want to run on farts, go for it. But thing is, like, I would say for performance wise, I would not go totally on meat. For example, like if I were before a workout or something, you want to put something in you that gives you energy. What do? You go to Bojangles, get a Cajun filet biscuit. Afterwards, you want to go take a nap. That does not sound like you're going to perform, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know though. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll eat a lot of carbs, man. It gets me going. Some pancakes.
Yeah, that's a lot of carbs. But see, that's a lot of sugar. See, our breads actually have a lot of sugar in it too. So that's also a factor. So, I mean, there's also that.
Yeah, but I also wonder: does cancer is cancer's only cause of growth the acid, or is it other stuff?
I think it's a good combination of emotional stuff and also acidic stuff. And mainly your acidic stuff would be a lot of sugar that has no fiber to break. Like you're not consuming the right type of sugar that has fiber in it for your body to break down. And because if if you don't have that necessary fiber in consuming the sugar, your pancreas is going to go crazy and create a lot of extra insulin to store that sugar your body can't process until a later date. And that's just how the pancreas works from what I could tell. I mean, unless I'm wrong, but anyway,
and there's other. Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. But I lost track.
I do this all the time, Andrew. I just cut him off. But I was gonna say, there's also outside factors that contribute to cancer too. Like if you're smoking, different chemicals, working in a mine or something.
Could be pollution in the air too, like for California and San Diego. There's also that, like San Diego and over there, like the smog is insane, especially in LA. Anyway, sorry.
But as
Yeah.
far as all this kind of growth hormone, kind of getting cancer from what you're eating, I think you have to have acid for it to start to go get rolling.
Yeah, because it breaks down the habit. It actually builds a habitat for the fungal and the fungi stuff to make it grow to begin with,
Right.
which kind of makes somewhat of sense.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I wonder, does like meat, like really lean meat, like elk and some deer, some cuts of deer, is it the fat that causes the acid, or is it like just the meat?
I would say proteins in general is acidic by nature. Just protein in general is acidic. Because
Well,
because your protein, what your proteins do, like they attach to your cell wall, and like it breaks down your cell wall over time to begin with. And that's why it's called, I mean, your acids. You got to get your daily dose of acids. It's like, why do we have to get our daily dose of acids? But yeah,
But yeah, the fattier something is, the more acidic it is.
yeah, that because yeah, greasy.
So I wonder if we would have all these problems if like we went to different cuts of meat.
Well, for one thing, we shouldn't be giving our animals food that actually causes their hormones to go crazy, and then give them things that like causes them to grow more, like steroids and extra hormones, because at this point you're just consuming more hormones. And by the way, here's another thing that's acidic: your testosterone and your estrogen. Those hormones are actually quite acidic by nature as well. So it's like, it's just.
I mean, you
you're
gotta
feeding.
have some acid, right?
Yeah.
You can't just like have a non-acid body.
Oh, that is very true. But it's just like the thing that's getting everyone in today's society is just the high protein diets that's been pushed down our throats since we were kids. I mean, just saying.
And your fruits and stuff will be acidic.
Yeah. So so high protein is in like just high protein? Like if you're saying if you eat tons of pintos, you'll still have the problem?
Well, then I mean, it depends though, because of how much protein you're originally consumed. Because to get to the level of where you're at in terms of like how far your body, like how old you are, and how much protein you've consumed in general throughout your lifetime, your body's going to store all of that. And the only way you can get rid of it is if you started like a detoxing program. You have to detox yourself at some point, and detoxation is actually vital for the human body. And I mean, you can jump into pharma and do drugs and do the chemical things where they actually clog your body full of chemicals, and it causes your body not to perform to detox itself. There's also that. But point is, if you're eating a lot of protein, I really suggest actually trying out fasting or looking into fasting at the very least. Fasting actually helps your body break down the proteins to a very good degree, because if your body can't break it down, then I mean you gotta have to eat something that's going to help it break it down.
Interesting.
Because it's acidic by nature, right? But your body can't really get it out of it because it clings to you essentially. But
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. It's a lot of information, and not only it's a lot of information, but a lot of it needs to be like really looked into by a good group of people that actually has the benefit, like actually has the mindset of trying to benefit everyone, to get everyone better and not actually steal their money and keep them sick.
What do y'all think about the iron? Like, does your body need iron? And like,
your body.
I don't
Sorry.
think your body. Like, I don't know. I don't know of any beans that give you iron.
I would. You're really stuck on the beans.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't know. Man. Whatever. Lettuce. I don't know. I don't know of any vegetable-ish thingy that gives you iron. Like, don't you need iron, or do you not need iron? Is that a
I feel like a lot of dark leaves have iron in it, but I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah,
Dark?
I think iron can be found in your plant in your very dark leaves. I think you're right on that one. The fruits, for example, like when I was talking about fruit earlier, your fruits actually have a lot of minerals and vital minerals in them that your body actually that can utilize. Your body actually also apparently the body has certain bacteria that can actually break down magnesium. It can break down iron. I mean, obviously we know this, but I mean, our body has awesome bacteria, and and we're taught that most like we have bad bacteria and good bacteria. Well, I think we have bacteria in our bodies for the reason, apart from maybe certain types. But I mean, I don't know if anyone's really doing a lot of research into that one or not, or has actually done that already. But I'm sure they have. But I don't know. It's just a lot of this information's kind of hearsay to me, coming from me. I know this. I'm kind of discrediting a little bit, but still, everyone needs to like do their research and stuff. Just to be honest.
That's true.
The
The only positive thing I can see is like, like a fish ain't that bad apparently.
No, fish isn't that bad. It depends on where you're getting your fish.
But it's still animal.
I
But
mean,
no. Apparently, it doesn't have like all this acid stuff and like doesn't like. Apparently, fish is like not gonna have much negative effect on you.
The mercury is what you got to worry about. Fish.
Yeah.
Ain't that in tuna though? I thought that was tuna. I thought that was a tuna thing.
It's all fish, man. The
Well, how
ocean
did
messed up.
mercury get in the fish?
Chemical waste? I don't know.
Radiation poisoning, yo.
The ocean
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah. Plus,
Are you for real? Are there no fish without mercury?
you mean seafood without mercury?
Probably
I'm
not.
about to- Seafood, no
Your
mercury.
crustaceans have a lot of. It's got a shell.
Oh, my
The way the moon pulls the earth and the waves.
Holy crap. All fish contain trace amounts of mercury.
Told you.
All fish! How does this happen?
You can't
I
eat
don't
nothing, man.
I don't understand how this happened. How did mercury get into fish? How did mercury? I'm looking this up. I don't know how this happened.
Fukushima.
This podcast is going everywhere tonight.
Mercury. Oh man,
It's
I guess you're right. Just the freaking coal and oil rigs and whatnot. Just
Mhm.
going to the-
Mhm.
All fish have freaking. There's not one fish. There's not one. If you mean to tell me on this whole planet Earth, there's not one fish that ain't got no mercury.
I don't know.
I guess you
Probably
can
not.
genetically modify your own fish.
Hey, let's start a lab.
Now I'm on this mercury thing.
Hey, have you heard of the McDougalls, Derek?
McDougal?
Yeah,
That's a good term. I know I have not. What's this about?
he's a plant-based guy. I was just wondering if you've ever researched them.
Oh, I haven't, but I do know there's this one guy who's a free runner. This guy's, I don't know how legit he is, but he's a free runner. Apparently, he eats a lot of fruit, a lot of seeds, a lot of nuts, and he also eats a lot of just vegetables in general. This guy's ripped, and he's like running over skyscrapers all the time, which is kind of ridiculous. Apparently, I don't know how true this really is, but he lives in the city. But this guy's going all natural apparently, and he's straight up maintaining, and he has energy.
Cool.
But I mean, can't remember his name. Flip. It's been like a year since I've seen this guy, so yeah.
So I'm assuming.
But McDougal, I will take a look at him. He sounds like an
Yeah.
interesting fella.
I feel like his first name's John.
All right.
John. But if it ain't, you can just Google McDougal plant-based or vegan or whatever. But
Oh,
you need
man.
to look into him and watch some YouTube videos and stuff. He's done TED Talks and all kinds of mess. He's real interesting. Him and his wife.
That is interesting.
The McDougals.
Wait, hold on. Is mercury good for you?
It depends. I think there's some mercury that's good for you, but I can't,
I
I
thought
don't.
mercury was a poison.
Crap.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like I said an hour ago, you eat too much of something, it's gonna kill you. It don't matter
that's
what it
true.
is.
That's true. If you get too alkaline, that can kill you too. You have to have a
Yep.
balance. Like for real, you actually do have to have a balance. If you
Does
don't,
that
well,
include meat though? Or are we
what?
saying no? Does that include meat?
For balancing, I mean, hey, this is how you get unalkalinized. You eat meat, or you just eat. I know this is flip. I would
think if
say,
you eat meat like twice a month or something, you'll be okay. But
yeah,
I still think plant-based is the way to go. But I'm too much of a wimp to commit to it. I don't think a little meat's going to kill you.
yeah. But this high protein stuff, meaning eating meat every day, it just destroys people.
Yeah, you need to be like 80%
Oh, and
plant-based, beans and starch. That bean life, man.
Jeez, a bean man, I don't even know how to cook beans, to be honest with you.
Well, you got a slow cooker now.
oh, hey, dude, you got a crock pot? Oh, dude, you can make oatmeal in that. That's pretty good stuff.
Why am I gonna make oatmeal like crock pot?
Oh, okay. So basically, you can get
Here we
oatmeal,
go
right?
with another podcast.
So steel cut oatmeal, right? So basically, you can get gluten-free oatmeal, believe it or not. I think it's like a certain brand. But it's very chewy, which is it's cool because you can use a crock pot. You can actually cook it all the way through, and it won't be it won't be as chewy, which is pretty awesome. But all you have to do is throw it in a crock pot the night before you eat it, and you can just eat it for breakfast. I've done it. I've seen that done. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, there's something I was going to say. Snap. Not that. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, you could probably look this up, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. I think red meat is quite directly linked. A lot of red meat is actually linked to hardened prostates.
Did you say hardened?
Yes,
Yeah,
as
that makes sense.
your prostates actually get extremely tough when you eat a lot of red meat. And prostate cancer is live and well.
Man, I don't know, man. I just don't know if I can eat a pot of beans and that's my meal.
Hey, Andrew.
Well, you eat a pot
you
of
don't.
beans, a potato, get some salad up in there.
Hey, you don't have to eat just full on beans. I don't. You don't. You can literally just get like at least 2 or 3 things of romaine lettuce and just like pile it all together, slap in some olive oil and vinegar, get a little bit of herb action in there, man, and then you just get some bell peppers, chop them up, throw them on there, and get yourself
And
some cucumber slices, and yeah, that's pretty good salad right there. Oh, also a little bit of onions. That's
the
pretty good.
coolest thing about the bean life, which, remember I'm not doing it, but you don't have to worry about calories. You can eat as much food as you want to.
Yeah, and then fart yourself to the moon, which is also a good time.
But yeah, you ain't got to worry about it. Because, for one, you're not going to eat enough lettuce. I mean,
That's true.
to gain a
I know.
pound, you'll get tired of chewing before you
I mean, I was also going to say you can add some
start
seeds
worrying
to
about
it.
how many calories you're taking in or anything like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
But,
can add some nuts to that too.
yeah.
But
Well,
Derek, man,
we can keep going, but this thing's like already at an ungodly long time.
an hour 30, I think, is where we're at.
Yeah,
Oh, poop.
so I think we're gonna come. I think that's what we should do. Someone needs to take the no meat side, and someone needs to take the meat side and actually do some research. And if anyone is listening and they're more qualified, which is probably about anyone out there, if you have any background in nutrition and you want to give us some insights, just DM us on Instagram or do that.
We'd love to have you on the podcast. Have a big old round table.
I don't care what side you're on, whether you're on the no meat side or the meat side, or
we'll debate it.
We'll have a debate because I don't know. I don't know. Some parts of me feel like the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like I don't think Derek should be eating meat because his foot's going to explode. But at the same time, I don't know. You got someone that's super active trying to do a sport. I mean, I guess you can eat beans all day or whatever you got to do, but I don't know. That's a lot of beans.
Just something just came to mind. Oh, snap.
Save it for the next podcast.
No, that's part of the beans thing, though.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Oh, actually, no, it's part of the exercising. Actually, when you exercise a lot, apparently your uric acid levels actually rise because you're being active and your muscles squeeze out that uric acid, apparently.
Well, your muscles get inflamed.
Well, yeah. Well,
So,
that's the uric acid. That's
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, like your muscles getting inflamed is just going to happen. That's part of the process.
Yeah.
But check this out. If you don't eat a bunch of meat and have a bunch of acid in your system, your muscles don't stay inflamed as long.
That is true.
Which also will promote, better recovery and growth when people think you need the protein for it to grow. It's like, nah, man, that's what's keeping you inflamed.
And then plus you get energy benefits from that too. You get more energy too when we think about it.
There's all kinds of stuff, Andrew.
There's
I
too
know.
much, man. I don't even know. I'm into this podcast. At the end of the day, man, you can't eat nothing. Everything's gonna kill you. Your meat's gonna kill you. Your milk's gonna kill you. The fish have freaking mercury in them. I didn't even know.
100%.
The sky is falling. The sky is
Every single
falling.
fish has mercury. The sky is coming undone. I got freaking hamburger helper sitting in the kitchen. I'm probably gonna die pretty soon. I'm eating this freaking hamburger helper. I drank, I don't even know, a quart of chocolate milk during the podcast. I'm freaking in the grave already. I don't know. Please, someone email us, DM us something. Give us your information about this. Come on, have a debate with us one time. We'll get it all organized. At the end of the day, I don't know what to get out of this podcast, but be healthy. I hope you learned something. It was interesting. I learned that meat's probably not good and milk's not good. Everyone have a great day. Do your own research and come talk to us. We don't know what's going on. And we'll see you later.
We're out.
Up next is the IBP Tar Heel State Powerlifting Championships in Belmont, North Carolina on April 20th. For more details about the competition, go to ironboypowerlifting.com.
Please subscribe and thank you for listening. Be sure to follow @CheckMyTotal on Instagram for all the latest updates.
Yeah, man, that's what we want to talk about. How you did it.
Well, a lot of it was sacrificing.
Well, hold on, Derek. Hold on. We gotta start. I gotta do the intro before we get into it.
Yeah, I understand, man. But it's just like, there's a lot to it, though. But go for it.
We'll save it. Hold on, Derek. Let me start this thing. We'll roll.
Okay.
All right.